Urgent Birds fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest birds news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Eagles! The Kenny Pickett trade is complete. All the pieces of the Kenny Pickett trade are set now. Check out the returns for both teams. The failure of the Kenny Pickett experiment at quarterback was a painful one for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After sinking the 25th overall pick into Pickett back in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Steelers were ready to move on after just 2 seasons with Pickett at the helm. In an effort to try and recoup some of that value, the Steelers jumped on an opportunity to trade Pickett to the Philadelphia Eagles. After quite a few moves involving those picks, we'll finally know the outcome of that trade this year. Original terms of the Kenny Pickett trade: Steelers received 2024 third-round pick 98, LB Peyton Wilson, 2025, 7th-round pick 223, 2025 7th-round pick 229. Eagles received QB Kenny Pickett, 2024 4th-round pick 120D. Who did the Steelers select with the picks from the Kenny Pickett trade? The Steelers received a 2024 third-round pick 98 and 2 2025 7th-round picks 223, 229 from the Eagles as a part of the Kenny Pickett trade. Pittsburgh selected linebacker Peyton Wilson with the 3rd rounder last year and traded pick 223 as part of the trade for wide receiver DK Metcalf this offseason. At 209, the Steelers selected Central Michigan CB Dante Kent to complete the trade. What did the Eagles do with the pick from the Kenny Pickett trade? Philadelphia received a 2024 4th-round pick 120, which was traded to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for a 2025 3rd-round pick 79. Philly traded that pick to Washington for Jahan Dotson last offseason. Washington used the pick as part of the Jeremy Tunsil trade. The 79th overall pick from Houston was used on Iowa State WR Jalen Noel. Who won the Kenny Pickett trade between the Steelers and Eagles? It's rare that you see a team move on from a first-round quarterback as quickly as the Steelers did with Kenny Pickett, but it became abundantly clear that Pickett would not be the long-term answer in Pittsburgh. The Steelers managed to secure some plus value in a mid-round pick swap with a pair of future 7th-rounders added in as a pot sweetener. That's still a terrible return on investment given the initial cost sunk into Kenny Pickett, but it's better than nothing. Meanwhile, the Eagles got a single start out of Pickett as a backup, where he did manage to pull off the win. Philadelphia subsequently flipped the 4th rounder in 2024 for a 3rd rounder in 2025, which is great value. They also managed to trade Pickett to the Browns in exchange for another quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and a 2025 5th rounder. The Steelers probably lose this deal no matter what, given the sunk cost put into Pickett. It's good that they were able to get something for him, Peyton. Wilson could end up being an impactful player, but the Eagles managed to turn Pickett and a pick into 2 picks. Well, see how Philadelphia uses those resources, but I'm inclined to give the edge to the defending Super Bowl champions, Winner Eagle, spousing this news. Just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Eagles Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Eagles finally draft an offensive tackle, a huge one. In the 6th round, Eagles drafted OT Myles Hinton, number 191 from Michigan. The Eagles finally drafted an offensive tackle Saturday, selecting Michigan's Myles Hinton with the 191st pick in the 6th round. There was a thought that the Eagles could take an offensive tackle and heir apparent to Lane Johnson as early as the 1st round, but it didn't happen for another 2 days. Hinton, 6'7", 325 pounds, began his college career at Stanford, where he started 16 games at right tackle in 2021 and 2022 before transferring to Michigan, where he started 15 more games, 11 at left tackle and 4 at right tackle. Hinton is the 2nd offensive lineman the Eagles drafted Saturday, whose father was an offensive lineman in the NFL for years. 5th-round pick Drew Kendall's father, Pete, was the Seahawks' worst-round pick in 1996 and spent 13 years in the NFL. And Hinton's dad, Chris, was the 4th pick in the 1983 draft and made 7 Pro Bowls in a 13-year career with the Colts, Falcons, and Vikings. His older brother, Chris, who also played at Michigan, is a defensive lineman with the Chargers. Despite his size and his bloodlines, Hinton still had doubts about his future in football coming out of high school. I wasn't sold on the sport going. Into college, it kind of surprises people, Hinton said on In the Trenches with John Jansen, according to Michigan blog site Maize and Brew. My dad and brother played. It was part of the family. Once I got to college, I learned more about football and how it was a vehicle for future success, so I was trying to put myself in a position to where I could have that. The biggest thing was realizing my ability. For a while, I didn't understand what I could do off and on the field physically. Hinton is a project tackle who has that tremendous size, long arms, and the tools to become an NFL player at some point, but needs to learn to stay low at 67 and play with more consistency and aggression. This is the kind of player Jeff Stoutland loves to work with, a guy who great potential who isn't NFL ready yet. With Fred Johnson leaving in free agency for the Jaguars, the Eagles don't have a ton behind starters Johnson and Jordan Mailata. They have one-time Chiefs 5th-round pick Darian Kinnard, who was on the roster all year but only played in the meaningless season Ender versus the Giants, and they brought back 2018 Eagles 5th-round pick Matt Pryor, who has started 39 games mainly. At tackle for the Eagles, Colts, 49ers, and Bears, the Eagles have drafted plenty of interior linemen lately, but Hinton is the first offensive tackle they've taken since Prince Tega Wanogho in the 6th round out of Auburn in 2020. He played 4 seasons in the NFL. It's the second straight year they've taken a Michigan offensive lineman on day 3. Last year, they picked Trevor Keegan in the 5th round with the Honda 72nd pick. He also only played in the season-ending Giants game. Eagles-Chargers nearly had a deal for the number 22 pick. The Eagles ultimately moved up one spot in round 1 from number 32 to number 31 to get Alabama linebacker Jihad Campbell. The effort started at least 9 picks earlier than that. Per multiple sources, the Eagles attempted to trade up to number 22 with the Chargers in an effort to land Campbell. As one source explained it, the Chargers were talking to multiple teams while on the clock, including the Eagles. When a deal wasn't finalized, the Chargers took their guy North Carolina running back Omarion Hampton. Some believe it was much closer than that a deal was done, but that there was an issue in the communication of it to the league. And as we've learned in the past, both teams must independently communicate to the NFL the terms of the deal before trade becomes official. If there's any discrepancy in the terms supplied by the teams, there's no deal. In this case, both teams did not communicate the terms to the league before the ticking clock forced the Chargers to make a pick. The Eagles apparently wanted to get Campbell at number 22. After round 1, GM Howie Roseman admitted that the Eagles had tried to move higher than number 31 to get Campbell. Again, this was a top 10 player on our board, Roseman told reporters. We do not have any long-term concerns with his health. We look at the draft as a long-term opportunity for our team. We have a lot of confidence this guy's going to be here and play at a really high level for a long time. When you're in a draft and you're picking at the end of the 1st round, you don't have an opportunity to get a top 10 player on your board. A guy who can affect the quarterback, a guy who can affect the passing game. For us, it was a no-brainer. Local kid, great character, so we were really excited to add him. They nearly added him 9 picks earlier than where they got him for more. Then the 5th round pick they sent to the Chiefs for a 1-spot climb, and the Eagles have to separately be very excited about that. Eagles quietly make several roster moves immediately after 2025 NFL Draft. Now that the NFL Draft has ended, the Eagles will begin announcing the signings of undrafted rookie free agents. Bookmark this one as well, be keeping a running tally. The NFL Draft is over. Who needs a breather? Tough cookies. There isn't enough time for you to take one. The Philadelphia Eagles added 10 new shiny prospects to the nest, and now they focus their attention on the next phase, combing the landscape, to find more prospects to evaluate further. Don't sleep on any class of undrafted free agents. We've seen guys use the opportunity to catapult themselves onto the 53-man roster. Current Birds Reed Blankenship, Ben Van Sumeren, and Eli Ricks come to mind, as all joined the roster as former UDFAs. Other former UDFAs on Philly's roster include the following: A.J. Woods, Andre Sam, Gabe Hall, Dallas Gant, Charlie Huglett, Tristan McCollum, Brett Toth, E.J. Jenkins, Elijah Cooks, and Laken Vakalahi. See what we mean? Talent can always be found once Mr. Irrelevant is announced and we close the book on another draft. So we're saying there's a chance. When did you think you'd see that reference in a sports story? Sorry. We couldn't resist, but enough of that. This list deserves a serious look and some consideration. There could be a Corey Clement or TJ Edwards in this bunch. One can never tell. Shout out to 2 Wisconsin guys following an NFL draft that was just hosted by the city of Green Bay. Eagles announced the signing of several rookie undrafted free agents after the 2025 NFL draft. 10 Eagles were added during the 3-day NFL draft. The race is on for those guys who didn't hear their names called between rounds 1 and 6. Here are the players who have reportedly signed with Philadelphia as rookie undrafted free agents. Brandon Johnson. Safety, Oregon Ducks Brandon Johnson is among the first reported signees. After 3 years at Duke, he transferred to Oregon and racked up 45 tackles, 1 half sack, an interception, and 5 pass breakups for the Ducks in 14 games during the 2024 season. He also recovered a fumble and returned that for a touchdown. Shunderick Powell, running back, Central Arkansas Bears. Honestly, we had no idea what Central Arkansas's nickname was. We found out they're the Bears. We aren't going to lie to you. Shunderick Powell is a bit of a mystery. We couldn't find him on Pro Football Focus or Pro Football Reference. He put up numbers, though. In 2024 alone, he stacked 1,334 rushing yards and 14 TDs on 163 carries, and added another 318 yards and 3 scores on 36 receptions. Maxon Hook, safety, Toledo Rockets. A former teammate of Quinion Mitchell's, Maxon Hook. May not be athletic enough start at safety at the NFL level. Still, he could contribute early on special teams, but would that be enough to earn him a roster spot? Montrell Johnson, running back, Florida Gators. Montrell Johnson does everything coaches at football's highest level ask for from depth guys at the position. He's reliable, tough, and unafraid to pick up tough yards with physical carries. Head, no. Doubt, be seeking a position on Philly's practice squad. Holland Pierce, offensive tackle, Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Holland Pierce has done what every good prospect is asked to do, get better each season. He's a monster at 6'8" and 344 pounds. Unfortunately, as you might expect, all of the girth prevents him from moving as well as you'd like to see someone move at the professional level. He also plays with a high pad level much too often. And now, Birds fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Birds. They'll be back any moment with more Eagles Nation news. Fly, Eagles, fly.